Welcome, we're live to another Wargamers Hangout. It's been a few weeks, but we have some cool guests on here today, and I found out that this mug that I got from Boston Pizza is basically a full liter of chocolate milk, so it's fantastic.
Oh, Dan, you are the circus.
So, why don't we have our guests introduce themselves?
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Brian Saunders. I go by Nataku on YouTube and on Facebook. And this is
Lynn Wolf. I am.
You'll have to speak up there.
My name is Lynn Wolf, and I'm a game designer and a co-owner with Midnight Heroes.
Ah, yes, Midnight Heroes.
yes, I'm the
that.
owner of Midnight Heroes.
Very cool. Well, we'll be getting to that in a little bit. We'll discuss and grill you on the ways of Kickstarter and miniature making.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think last time we said we'd go like a week between the last hangout due to technical difficulties. So 3 weeks later, here's our next hangout. What have you been up to, Dan?
Well, we got a fire at work at a dry cleaning plant, and so things are crazy. Luckily, it was a contained fire, but there was soot everywhere. We're trying to clean clothes in the soot-caked environment, and people are cleaning, and we're trying to like squeeze. I worked like 17 hours last Wednesday. It was so I've been working like crazy, and then all my friends went to lock and load, and I didn't go this year, and I was very sad about that. But I had like 10 people go, and so they were able to bring back goodies, and I was able to see all like the cool updates like on Facebook as they're like posting everything. So it was a cool weekend, nonetheless.
Nice. Yeah, I was watching the pre-release stuff for Lock and Load. There's like all the new releases are very cool. I actually only learned yesterday about the new Berserker chassis for Kador, the Mad Dog, and the like Rager. I'm like, oh wow, why are they bringing back the Berserker chassis? But the Rager actually seems pretty decent.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to get all the cool information, it's all very well organized on Reddit. So just type in Google Reddit and Reckoning Spoilers, and it's all right there. They have like cool screenshots and everything.
And if you follow Chain Attack, it's all in there too.
Yeah.
Pretty well organized.
Anyways, I'm excited for the Hurricane. It looks sweet. With I don't know why. I don't know if it's gonna be overly useful, but when like its whole like if you activate within 10 inches of it, you lose flying. I don't know how useful that's gonna be, but I just
anti-terminus, anti-legion.
Yeah.
That's about it.
But
Did something crit?
The flying legion beasts are just gonna charge into the colossal anyways. But I guess if it's through rough terrain, they don't have Pathfinder. It could open up some cool little things, but they might be charging for more than 10. I don't know. But I just think it's funny. And then Haley 3 is, I think, bonkers awesome. And seems like I have no idea what to do with her. There's like so many things. I'm like, they're so versatile. I don't know what list to bring.
Yeah, no, I'm curious about how that's going to work. Her theme, tier 1, super important.
Well, her theme is just bring tons of trenchers.
No, but I mean, just bring tier 1 and like stick with that. You don't even need the other tiers as much. I mean, I guess it's beneficial, but seems like being able to start her with all her forms out's pretty awesome.
But that means that you can only bring long gunner and trenchers.
Mm-hmm.
And those units suck compared to all the amazing things.
But they're a point cheaper. You can bring chain guns.
For a point, it's true. You only need solos or whatever. So it's something to experiment with. I don't think it's going to be very competitive at all, for the theme list at least.
Well, I mean, you have to keep in mind after the storm wall. That's right? Yeah. What were you going to get?
Hey, whatever. We love it. Okay, so I was really excited because a lot of people thought the Horde's 10th anniversary box was going to have minions. And I was like, get it for me, get it, I want minions. And then it wasn't.
Did they still get it for you? Do you owe somebody money?
No. They were like, I'm going to buy it regardless because I want Chromac on the diorama, but can you buy the minion models off me if there are minions? I was like, sure. but then it didn't happen. Oh well.
Yeah.
It's okay. We got the Crow Creators, which are amazing. They're like probably the best release of the book that we've seen.
They're thoroughly entertaining looking.
They're so good. They're Rat 6, Range 10, POW 12 Weapon Masters, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys know all about that.
Well, yeah, I don't know how much of the. Well, yeah. Sorry, Brian.
It's all good. We're enjoying the what y'all speak. We're watching you guys. So.
Well, I'm curious if the audience
We're learning too.
following the new releases actually, because I don't know what everyone is excited about. I've been hearing really mixed reviews for like some of the new releases. Hurricane actually has had pretty mixed reviews. The Rulik Battle Engine has some pretty mixed reviews. I'm excited about Zerkova.
Of course you
I'm
are.
a little worried about the new models I'm going to have to start acquiring to fill that, but I'm very excited about that. And then I'm kind of excited about Victor, but I was hoping he'd be still a little better.
It's hard. That's the problem with most of the new releases and stuff that Privateer Press has. They're never like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing, I need to get it. They're like,
Well, no, the problem is that usually there's one model that is, and they're considered to have won the book or whatever. Menoth, I think, this time.
Well, Menoth is pretty cool. When I did play War Machine, that's the faction that I played, and I loved Menoth.
They've always been really solid. Now, Brian, did you play in Mark 1 or Mark 2?
I started off in Mark 2, and I played maybe 3, maybe 4 games tops, and then we kind of stopped playing, and I had a whole force that I painted up and everything, and that was, like I said, I only played like 2 or 3 games of them.
Yeah.
so a veteran, clearly.
No, definitely. I know exactly what I'm doing, yeah. I was an expert inside and out.
And you played Menoth, you said.
Yes, sir.
Well, I have to hate you now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just thought that I like the whole religious feel to them. I don't know why. I did. I like the whole, religious type of look, and I initially got them because I wanted to paint them. I thought that they were cool to paint, and so that's why I got them.
Credit to them.
I think the whole religious feel, like, it freaks me out. It's like a little too true, from like the Crusades and all this stuff, and the horrible death everywhere. I'm like, this is crazy, awful history. Why are we playing this game?
Well, like I can't remember the character's name. The guy that had, I think they were basically in a nutshell like preachers, or whatever, and they carried flamers. I just I just thought that was cool.
No, it is. I agree. I've just lost a lot to Menoth, so I'm just bitter. That's all it is.
I got you. I got you. Well, if it makes you feel any better, in the games that I played, even though that I was learning, I didn't win any of them.
That's a versus playing War Machine.
I didn't, and when I played 4K, I didn't win any games either, but I still had fun. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So anyways, I have a Haley 3 coming for me. Well, my friend has it. But apparently, I did not know this. I was like, yeah, grab a Haley 3 for me. But the only way to get Haley 3 was buying this box set with like a storybook with it. And it's like $65. And I was like, oh, dang it. I could have waited. But now you bought it for me. So, okay. But now he has 2, but he's getting 1 professionally painted. And so he wants to play with the other one. So he's like, if you can let me hold on to both so I can play and then whatever, I'll give you a good deal. So I'm just going to let him have it for a little bit and see what happens. So that's that. But I am excited to try her out when I eventually get her.
Are you doing any competitions between now and the end of the month? Like for Masters or any of that? Because I know it affects the active duty roster apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like she's part of active, or no, she's not part of active duty, but she's just allowed in it.
I thought the rule was that if a new release came out during the active duty roster, they were automatically on it.
Oh, really? Oh, that's what they were saying.
So, but that's only good till the end of June.
Right.
Starting in July, she's off it.
No tournaments until then, at least for me. So, but we did this.
So do you do tournaments quite often in the War Machine?
Yeah, War Machine's very tournament kind of centric. If you have a strong meta, like lots of people playing, and so it's just really people go to the club every week or whatever when they can to play, to practice their lists, so when they go to the tournament they can perform better. At least that's how it is around here. So there are a lot of people like newer players learning that they'll still go to tournaments. Tournaments are just so much fun because you get so many games in a row. You meet new people. You play against other people you don't necessarily would. And if you lose a bunch at the beginning, you're going to play against other people who are losing as well. You kind of like find people at your skill level.
Gotcha. When I played, I didn't do much tournaments when I played. I was just more of a friendly type player. I just gather with people and just play. So it's a different type of atmosphere than I'm normally used to. So I was just curious what it was like.
Yeah, I mean, there's one player in our club that plays nothing but tournament lists. Like if you want to practice with him, like you want to have a fun game, he'll bring a tournament list and try to destroy you every single time. And I can
appreciate that, right?
I'm very competitive.
when we had our gaming group going, which at the time we had 7 of us at one, and we would play in my home. We had a couple of guys that would come to, even though we played for fun, they would come to bring the strongest army list that they had, and they would want to wipe you off the table, and that was fun for them. And so we got to the point where we understood that, and we just had fun no matter what.
Right. And the thing is that he played in the Iron Gauntlet, which is the big, huge tournament that Privateer Press puts on. Like everyone plays around to get points to be able to qualify to play in this tournament, and you got this super amazing trophy and everything. And he came 5th overall.
Wow.
And so, I mean, he practices so he can do well in those tournaments, and he's a great player.
That's cool.
So it's just like, if anything, you want to bring competitive lists against him to help him, so when he goes, he can represent Alberta. Right? So when he goes and he's like winning stuff and other people, it's just like, yeah, and it's just like, it's a whole kind of like, okay, we know Bryn is like a crazy competitive person, but at the same time, everyone really supports him because we know he travels and does well and brings home trophies and whatever. It's all prestige, but, it's cool.
Yeah, I got you.
So that's what I love about my Wargaming group. I haven't been able to play hardly at all recently, which really sucks, but I need to get out. I actually had a battle report planned, and then I had to work like an extra 3 hours that day because of all this stuff going on. So I was like, yeah, I got to film something finally and get it. Nope. So, and it's not going to happen. Maybe next week, guys. I'm trying.
Well, I apologize. My son's in the background watching Guardians of the Galaxy, so if you hear a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy, it's because he's in the living room watching it.
No.
Well, props to him for good taste.
He loves all that type of stuff.
As do I.
I got my 8-year-old daughter watching it too. So.
Woohoo! We have so much in common with your children.
So I'm sitting here as y'all are talking, and he's jamming back there to it. I'm like, I hope this isn't coming through on the audio.
Nice. Well, just to fill in the remainder of what's going on, next weekend is the 19th through the 21st. I'll be in Atlanta for the Cool Mini or Not Expo. So if any of you folks are out in the Atlanta area or feel like making that drive, it'll be a whole weekend of gaming. So I should have War Machine, Malifaux, and Rocket King stuff. Yay! I'll also be doing panels. Huh?
You're going to fit it all in your bags?
So
she's going to have one big giant backpack on her back.
No, I've got my Privateer Press bag, nice big bag that just barely fits like airport standards. But I'm just going to have to pack it appropriately. Like I'm going to have like one 50-point list and like one Malifaux list and one.
Well, I'm just got this envision in my head of you like walking in there and you have like this hiker's backpack that's full of just gaming stuff on it, like you're hiking into the convention.
That's terrifying. You know what TSA says to that? They say you're going to have to check that, and then you go, oh, I'm so sad. You're going to break everything.
Yeah.
I know how you feel.
Even when you bring stuff like on like a carry-on, like, oh, the overhead bins are too full, and you just have to like check it at the door, and like stuff breaks. They're still super rough with those bags. So you're just like, no, stay away. I
honestly would be scared to take any of my miniatures through something like that. I've never done it before, but here in the future I plan on to, and I would be very, very, very scared because I would be like, those are my babies. Come pick my babies.
Although it's hilarious when it's going through like the X-ray machine when you're going through security, and like the person's like, and you kind of like get there ahead of your bag, and then you see it go through, and you just see like all the metal miniatures like everywhere.
They always stop too. They always go back.
What was that?
I've had some very interesting conversations with TSA people about it, though. I'm like, hey, you just do it for this gaming. The only exception to that is when I went to PAX, like from the Albuquerque airport going to the Penny Arcade Expo, Washington. Nobody questions it. There must be hundreds of people that one day going through with miniatures.
They're used to it, probably.
Oh, that's awesome. So speaking about miniatures, you guys, what are you guys doing right now?
Well, right now, what we're trying to do, we're trying to start up our own unique miniature/gaming company that we're calling Midnight Heroes, and we wanted to do something a little bit different that we, haven't seen out there. And we wanted to take, your classic fantasy races and put them in a unique sci-fi setting, which is our own world that we're putting together. And not only put them in that world and make those miniatures, but also have a very elaborate, evolving story that every year changes. And not only changes, the characters change as well, and we put out more miniatures of those characters as they evolve into the story and eventually come to, a finish and then, branch off somewhere else. But basically have, characters in a game to go with this. And we're going to be making... our standard size is going to be 28 millimeters. That's going to be our dwarves, and we're going to go all the way up to like our dragons, what we're calling omegas. They're going to be roughly 80 millimeters tall and 150 millimeters long. And these guys are going to be, they're going to be huge. They're going to be
fun to paint.
Yeah, they're going to be fun to paint, especially those that use airbrush. They're going to be really fun to paint with airbrushes.
Well, yeah, huge models are. So wait a minute, when you're talking about 80 millimeters long, or 150 millimeters long, are you talking about on a round base, or are you doing ovals, or what are you thinking?
Actually, we're going to be a little bit different. Our bases are going to be hex. Our game that we're designing, which Lynn right here is one of the guys that's actually designing it, is going to be all hex-based, and our game is actually going to be 100% diceless. We're going to be taking elements of all different types of genre, taking elements from board gaming, collectible card gaming, and tabletop skirmish gaming, and combining them all into one.
But you said, did you say diceless?
Yeah, no dice.
Dice are evil.
It's going to be 100% diceless, and the game is actually going to be tactic-based in two ways. Actually, how you play the game, and actually how you build the deck. Think of it playing a tabletop board game with a Magic the Gathering deck, kind of. That's how it's going to be. We're going to have booster packs. Yeah, you're going to have booster packs that you can get collectible cards that can upgrade and do all sorts of stuff. And one of the cool things about it is when you pick your characters, most games are going to be point based, like War Machine, 40K, and all that stuff. They're all point based. Well, this one's instead of point based, it's going to be deck size. You want to play a game that has 100 cards in your deck, so that's X amount of characters. You want to play a game that's 50 cards in your deck. That's X amount of characters. And each character will have a set number of cards that they add to your deck pool. And so you can also, and then during the course of the game, you can get equipment that you like loot, so to speak, to upgrade your characters in game, and you can also equip them before the game even starts.
Mm.
So that's our idea for our first game. And that's the idea for our game. Which actually that Kickstarter is going to come out a little bit later, because we're in the very early alpha stages of it right now. And what we're trying to do is build our miniatures, our primary core characters for this story. Because unlike other games, we plan on not having any grunts. Every character, every miniature that we put out for this game are going to be unique characters. They're going to have their own names, they're going to have their own story, and it's going to be completely involved. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but it's going to be in the world, and they're going to evolve in the world as we go.
Gotcha. Okay. Here, real quick, Brian, can you adjust your microphone a bit? You kind of keep going in and out. I don't know if it's a conal mic or what, but it's like catching.
I'm not quite sure. I'm on my laptop, so we're going to turn the fan on. Let's see if I can record. Let me see if I can adjust my microphone real quick.
So let's just take it by the numbers. Like, I guess, what is both of you gentlemen's background?
Well, background, I've been playing, and he started off in Warhammer 40K back when it was in Rogue Trader, and I actually got them all into 40K when I did it. And I'm a DM for Pathfinder. I DM constantly for Pathfinder. I've played all sorts of games from D&D, Pathfinder, Warhammer 40K. I played a little bit of War Machine, played a little bit of Infinity. My current favorite game right now, and I play the crap out of it, is actually Super Dungeon Explorer from Soda Pop Miniatures. I love that game, and I'm in the process of trying to paint every Super Dungeon Explorer miniature, which is a task in its own right. But I've been doing stuff in this hobby since '95. Yeah. What about you?
Same deal. Started up and everything about '95. Playing here with Brian, doing 40K. We used to do a lot of the Magic the Gathering for a while. That was kind of our thing at the very, very beginning. Moved on to doing things with board games. Red Dragon Inn is one of our favorite board games. House of Haunted Hill. Then we started, getting the ideas a little more together. Well, what if we could do something our own? And that's when we kind of all got together and really kind of started putting everything slowly together to see if we could get into ideas, get together, and go from there. You mentioned a thing about dice earlier, even on the game. The reason behind the dice thing is because this guy right here couldn't roll dice to save his life.
No.
He'd go up against group people and say, "You got to do your saving rolls. Come on, you can do it. All you got to get is a 2."
I'd roll a 1, and I would roll all 1s.
Every time.
Yeah.
So for a lot of reasons, that's kind of turned some of us off from dice in general. So we're like, well, what if we do some still like flavor and go from there?
It's so bad that when I don't DM in Pathfinder and I play my own characters in Pathfinder, that it's a running joke. In the midst of one combat, I have massively fumbled 6 times and broken 4 weapons because I constantly roll 1s on a d20. It's dice hate me.
I'd say
so you're taking your toys and going home, and then
I'm done. I'm leaving. No, but it all started. Honestly, how this all came about is, like I said, I've been painting miniatures for gosh knows how long. I have my own channel on YouTube. It's called Kotaku. And my son one day saw me, making a video because I do a lot of how to paint videos, or I did. And he asked me one night, he's like, with that, why don't you make your own? And I was like, you know what, son? You're right. Why not make my own? And so I started, planning this out to do it myself. And then I'm very family and friend oriented. And I thought, if I'm going to do this, I want to bring my friends along with me, because if this is going to be successful, I want my friends to be successful too. So that's when I approached all my friends and said, hey, I'm doing this. Do you want to be a part of it? And all of them are like, not only do we want to be a part of it, we like what you're doing and we want to help you. So I'm like, so rad. And so that's kind of basically how we started Midnight Heroes, and then we went from there.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, your mic is still kind of adjusting back and forth a little bit.
Well, it's probably because I'm on my laptop and I don't have an external mic, so I'm gonna see if I can boost it.
Like it's okay for a while.
What about here? I've now boosted my mic. Is that much better?
I think what it does is when you speak, it kind of like tries to level it out, so it's kind of an automatic thing. And so when you speak louder, it kind of goes down. Or when you
I speak loudly. That's just the way I am. I apologize.
No, well, hey, it's technical difficulties. It happens. Okay, so I have a quick question about like the functioning of the game. I understand it's like alpha stage.
You understand? I'm sorry. It's like what?
It's in the alpha stages still. Until you figure it out. But if you only have a deck of cards, like where do the miniatures come in? Like, is it like Yu-Gi-Oh style? Like you flip over your dragon and you get to play it, and you put the dragon on the board?
No, I'll kind of go over it a little bit, and I'll let Lynn also talk about it. You basically build your characters, okay? We're just going to throw out random numbers. These are not the set numbers and stuff. But let's say you're going to have a 5-man team, and I'll use some of our characters that we have. We're going to be using, Elvira, Bite, Glass, and Mithul. They're just going to be out there, and each one of them gives you X amount of cards. They're not automatically on the board. The board is actually going to be built by you and your opponent. It's going to be strategically built. You're going to actually have a board turn phase where you actually build the board. And the boards are going to be in hex-shaped little maps that you can customize and be all modular. Once you get the board set, you'll have basically 2 deployment zones on each side, depending on how the board's set up. And it's still trying to work out all the ins and outs of it. But when you deploy your characters, you can also equip them. You'll have certain equipment cards that you can equip them. That's where your customization of the character. So, for example, if Lynn is also playing Elvia as well, and I am, they're the same characters, but they have different equipment, so that means they're going to have different stats and different abilities, and that will be based on your type of play style. Now, as the game goes, you each will, of course, take turns. One character, move their character X amount of spaces. Say they can move 5 spaces. They move 5 spaces, and then you decide, okay, I'm going to attack, Lynn. I'm going to take my Elvia and attack Lynn's Elvia. You put your card face down, and when it's ready to go, you flip it over, and the card has your attack value on it. Now, each character does not have a defense stack. The defense comes off the top card of player deck. So when I attack, let's say I have a 3-star attack card, and I'm attacking with Elvia to his Elvia, and then I also put down another unique card that adds this special effect or whatever, I have to beat his defense. So he's going to hold the top card over on his deck, and if his top card is a 3 or more in defense, he wins. If not, I win, he takes a point of health. And so it's kind of going fast like that. So you have no idea. It's going to be very fast-paced, and you have no idea how defense is going to be per turn. So, and that collectible card aspect comes because in booster packs we're going to be giving extra cards that have different combinations of attack, defense, and special abilities. And when you build the deck, you can build it to your play style. And is there anything that you kind of want to add on to that?
We'll be coming in with more effects later on. That's kind of just the core of it. That's just very basic, very simple core of what the game is right at the moment. We'll be adding more layers to that as we get more and more of it together. We're thinking of things along the lines of being able to lay down, you lay down other abilities as you have to charge up while you put those things down necessarily, or you lay out other effects that may be on the board even, where you can affect the board and stuff of that nature. So those
like summoning and stuff like that.
Yeah, summoning is one of the things for the fall even that we're looking to try to bring into the game. What do you have to do to accomplish the summoning to bring in another special character for the miniature you have? To clarify one thing, that each of the miniatures are going to have their own character card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they'll have some kind of stats on there that are based like movement, health, some things have a little bit of story on them and everything else. And if they have any kind of special abilities they can kick off, those will be on the cards as well. Then you come in with your attacks through the decks in your hands, and that's where the attacks is coming, because your hand size is only so big, and you can go from there.
All right, so we're looking to do basically a hybridized type of game to attract people who are into Magic the Gathering style card games, but also getting into miniatures. Is it designed to be a low buy-in as far as the miniature level? I mean, is it supposed to be like a gateway game for miniatures, or what kind of audience are you wanting to kind of grab with this?
Well, there's multiple audiences that we want to try to grab. We want to appeal to all of the different type of gamers in different genres. We want to appeal to the tabletop war gamers. We want to appeal to the collectible card gamers, and we want to appeal to the board gamers. far as a buy-in to get the game, it's going to be at a very, very low cost. A lot of games out there, you know, you have to spend a decent amount of money to get into it. What we're looking for to get into the game, when we do the Kickstarter for it, is going to be roughly between $45 to $50, and you have everything to play the game. I mean, everything, because the rules are going to be free.
Yeah.
You'll be able to download our rules when we get them all set in stone. You'll be able to download them off the website. The only thing that you will need to play the game are the cards and around the $12 to $14 range with our mini physics, unless we the higher up. You get like the 50 millimeter and our dragons. Obviously, those are going to be a lot more expensive. But our standard 28 and 30 millimeters, we want to keep that kind of price point, so it's going to be very easy to get in the game. And if you want to get booster packs, we want to try to keep the booster packs around a couple bucks. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. Because like lots of times you're paying $50 for just one miniature of like a decent size.
Yeah, and we're going for almost every single miniature we have, except for the very, very large ones, are going to be metal.
Yes.
We're like the quality that the white metal brings to it. We look at the other materials, like the bone type materials and those stuff. We see about using that one material, but we like where the metal goes. Now, on the dragon, that's impossible to go about. That would be resin.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That would be that'd be beast if it was that.
You could kill somebody with it if it was metal.
Well, that is what I'm hoping you can do, so this game might be for me.
We have a lot of ideas for this, and we've all sat down at the table and we've just brainstormed. We have, not only am I the owner and I do, I'm the art director of it, I'm also part of the writing, so I'm the one that's coming up with a lot of the story. We want to make these characters and we want it to evolve. I mean, I know a lot of other games have evolving stories, but I'm talking about not only does it evolve yearly, but the players have the opportunity to change the story as well. We want to do, back when I used to play 40K, one of the things that I really loved, they did it a couple of times, but they didn't do it very much. They actually had, like you said, they had tournaments, and you could post your results on their websites, and it would affect their story. Well, I really like that idea. I would love to be able to do something where on our website people can play games in our story that we give, and it affects the story that we come out, because we're doing what we call seasons. If you look at our Kickstarter, we have called Season 0. Every year, starting in January, from January to December 31st of each year, that's a quote-unquote a season. And inside that season, we're going to have multiple story arcs, multiple card releases that, you know, affect the game. Now, the core rules of the game are pretty much going to stay the same. Every year, new things are going to be thrown into the game that affect the story, that affect the game, you know, everything. And then if we, well, I should say if, I'm going to say when we get big enough, we're actually going to want to hold tournaments at conventions that are the conclusion to a lot of the stories. We talked about it. We would love to be able to one day have a tournament at a DEFCON, and not only have the tournament at a DEFCON, actually have this tournament be a big story point. What happens in the tournament winds up making it into the following season as a story. We want people to be able to affect it.
So the story that's evolving is you have to buy booster pack cards to affect the game?
The booster pack cards are only going to affect your power, I guess you could say, in the game. Every character is going to have basic equipment that comes with the starter deck. But we'll take, for example, Elvia, which is one of our first characters that we're putting out. She's an Elvarian tactical soldier, which is our version of elves. She's already going to have a card for her gun that's named Beam. It's already going to be, we're going to throw out a random number. It does 2 points damage, okay? Well, somewhere in the booster pack, there may be an upgraded card of the equipment card of Beam that does 3 points of damage. You don't necessarily need it, but it's a collectible card that you can get through the booster pack to boost up your characters if you want to. We're going to have rare ones, we're going to have common ones, and we're even going to have cards that at conventions that are only conventions you can get a convention or ring tournaments to play against. Now, I can see those cards become very powerful in tournaments, but for just random playing with people, you technically wouldn't really need it. You could play with what you have.
Right. So the story as it evolves is just for fluff? Like it doesn't affect the gameplay at all?
No, it may affect gameplay different abilities. Let's say, for example, one of our races that we call the Fog, which is our animal breeds. They have different aspects of different animals. One of their primary things is they summon creatures. They're very committed and tribal based. These cards could affect the gameplay by you can summon a completely different creature. I'm just going out random. Say this Claw Druid can summon a tiger. Their card that says they can summon a gorilla. You see what I'm saying? But 9 times out of 10, something like that will actually be a miniature, and that card will come with the miniature. But I'm just throwing that out as an example. Like some of our spellcasters in this game, our goal is in the card deck. You actually, if we have 2 different spellcasters, we'll take Hannah. She's our Raheem. She wasn't a battle nut. She's now more of a healer, but she uses very divine magic to heal you and buff you. Well, since it's divine magic, when you get booster packs, we're going to have spell cards that'll say divine on it, or whatever we decide to call it. Like I said, we're still in the early stages. You can equip with these spells that you want, that fit your playstyle. So if Lynn's playing Hannah and I'm playing Hannah, we may have completely different spells on her. So in a sense, she's a different character because he plays her as an attack cleric, while I'm playing her as a healing cleric.
Yep.
So, and that's where the booster pack and the collectible cards comes in, because you have your basic character, but you collect the cards to change them out how you want to play them.
That's really cool. That's really interesting how you can have the same characters but play them very differently.
Yeah.
I almost think of it
like one of the characters in the Kickstarter that we're trying to unlock. She's one of the miniatures that we're trying to get built right now.
Right, and we'll have a link to the Kickstarter for anybody curious to look at it. Because you've already met basic funding because you weren't asking for much. And
yeah, that gets our primary character, Leonide. He's one of our FA, and like I said, our FA they're our take on Beastmen.
Beauty in the way we took that was we were thinking, okay, well, how can we make this work? And we really like more of the Beauty and the Beast aspect more of it. You got your males who are your beasts, and we're going to have some of your female characters. We have one on there later on. More of the elegant, still with the animalistic.
Not to interrupt, can you shift the laptop a little more in front of this just so we can hear what you're saying?
Just so we got a little more of an animalistic feel to them. We're still taking that Beauty and the Beast aspect. Yay! I'll have to lean over to Brian like this and talk. There we go.
So cuddly.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, that's where we want to go with the file. We love the aspect of them with the spiritual side of them, being that shamanistic type culture on them. Once we get them going, though, who we got next?
Leonide is our first guy. Then our first miniature she's actually a chibi version of Elvia, but we have Elvia, which I've already talked to you a little bit. She's our Elvarian tactical soldier, and our Elvarians are our elves. And typically, when you think of elves in more of a fantasy setting, they're very elegant, magic-based, the whole 9 yards. We decided to take a little bit of a twist with our elves in this one. Instead of making them very magic-based, we made them very tech-based. And so they're like super duper high-tech fantasy, almost anime-ish type of tech. I mean, they are super duper high-tech, while our more magic race is going to be our FA, which are our beastmen. And then after we have Elvia, we have our Raheem, which is our version of dwarves, and we have Oda, which is our battle master, and they are, the best way to describe them, they're like cybernetic bikers.
But he's got them guns.
Yeah, like Oda, if you look on the page, he's got cybernetic arms that you can literally, depending on the situation, he can take his whole arm off and put a completely different one on to fit the situation that he needs. And in case of the game, for Oda, his rare cards will be different arms that you can put on him. Instead of magic, he can put different equipment. He can put shield arm on, he can put sword arm on, or whatever we decide. That's how you can modify him, and we can even make parts for him, miniature parts, to somebody wanted to magnetize them. They could and put different arms on him in the game to suit their needs.
Fair enough.
So just to clarify some more here, so as the game plays out, however it's figured out, you have your miniatures and you have the card that, that describes that miniature, and then you can have different upgrade cards that go along with it that start out in play that you can see. Like a spell list would be starting out with them. And so the deck that you flip is just a bunch of random numbers?
Yes and no. They're not necessarily random. When you build your deck, we'll just go with the assumption you have a 50-card deck, okay? And when you're building your deck, each card is going to have an attack value, and it's going to have a defense value, and it's also going to have an initiative value on it there as well. So when you build your deck, when the turn starts, you're going to pull like 7 cards in your hand, okay? And you do your movement. And remember, we're going to say we have 5 guys, okay? We have a 5-man team. You've got to move all 5 guys, going 7 cards. So I move miniature number 1, and I'm going to attack your miniature number 1. But I really want to hurt this miniature, and so I play 3 cards down. And let's say these 3 cards equal up to a 4-point attack. And I'm not taking it into any equipment or anything like that, because equipment can adjust that as well. But it equals up a 4-point attack. Well, then for you, depending on your equipment, because you will have some equipment that automatically can give you a point of defense or help you defense get certain types of attacks. For you immediately pull the top card off of your deck and you flip it over. And that will have, just like your other cards, it will have an attack rating on it, a defense rating on it, and an initiative rating on it. Well, when you're defending, you can get rid of those other 2 numbers. All you care about is your defense rating. That's it. If your defense rating, that card and all your equipment meets or beats the guys attacking, you win, don't get damaged. If it doesn't meet or beat the attacker, you take 20 damage. Now, each character will have a different set of amount of health. Some will be very tough and have a lot of health, while some of them will be very fragile, but they make up for it in different aspects. For example, a lot of our mages are probably not going to have a lot of hit points, but they will have the ability, if they hit you, they're going to hit you hard, type of thing. And so that's how you would work out the damage aspect of it. So you have no idea on any turn what your defense is going to be, except for the equipment that you have on it. So it's kind of a tactical and luck-based game at the same time.
It sounds like it sounds like there's a lot of luck then, because you have there's no stats on the actual cards, or am I there's no defense stat on your card. And so the only way to defend is bringing guys back and feeding other guys up front? Or...
Well, it's going to come down to how you stack your deck, too. Are you going to have a very defensive deck or a very offensive deck? You can try to do a mix, but, you leave yourself a little open sometimes, depending on what you want to do. And then like I said before, equipment could affect this number. Like you could have put a piece of equipment on there, say for some reason some kind of shield generator for this guy. Well, it may double the value of that defense card when you roll it. That may be the ability of this equipment. Stuff of that nature will be able to kind of offset it. So it just really comes down to deck building. How are you going to play your army with the deck you're building?
So imagine there's going to be rules. There's going to be rules on what you can bring in your deck then.
Yes, there are going to be rules on what you can, because each character, the equipment will have prerequisites that you can use, and just like you have to have a tech level of 2 to use this, or magic, you have to have divine magic to use this, or something like that. So it's not like you can just equip anything. You have to have certain abilities, and some equipment cards, for example, we'll use Elvia again, her rifle beam. Some equipment cards can be used by anybody, but if a specific character uses them, it drastically boosts their its effectiveness. So, like, say, for if Elvia dies on the battlefield, another character can run up and grab her gun and use it. But they're not going to use it as effective as she can, but they can use it. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So, theoretically, if you're building a defensive deck, so all that has really high defensive values, and someone else does the same thing, you could be like, all game? Right?
Theoretically, you are correct, and that leads into one really cool thing. We actually, on our current Kickstarter, we have a pledge level that you can pledge in and become an early level alpha tester of the game and help us develop the game. Your direct input will help us shape how the game, goes. I mean, because like I said, we're in early alpha. This thing could change a lot. We could add stuff. We could take stuff, and the more people that we get feedback from, the better off this game will be as we design it.
I think it's really neat how you have your characters, and they kind of define it, but the actual the deck really defines your play, right? Mm-hmm. Is that what I'm getting here? So you
yes,
build
sir.
your deck, and that's really how you're using your characters. And so your characters, they are important in a way, but they're very much less important than how you build your deck and how you play them.
Yeah, that's the big tactical part of it. The big tactical part of it is building your deck, and then you have another tactical part of it is actually playing it. But it's all like you said, how you built the deck. If you built your deck to be very aggressive, you can't. When you play the game, you can't sit with your characters. You can't sit back. You got to go, pardon my French, balls to the wall. But if you build your deck very defensive, and you can sit back and you can wait and you can take your time. It all depends on how you build your deck. There's the big tactical part of it.
That's going to get crazy with different card releases and keeping everything balanced. I wish you guys good luck.
That's why I got him.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun trying to play around and keep it equal as best we possibly can.
He's going to hate me because I'm the one designing the characters, and I'm going to come in and say, this character does this, make it work. Oh, man. And that's just my head. I'm like, I got this cool character that I designed. You have to make this work.
Fair enough. No, it's not. I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of evolution still, or a lot of refining that will have to still happen on the gameplay level. Let's talk about.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I said I want to talk about the miniatures. Like looking at your Kickstarter, you've got about 15 potential miniatures released if you meet all your stretch goals.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell me a little bit about how they were designed. I mean, I know early in the beginning, or before the live show started, you were talking about taking fantasy races and combining them with like sci-fi themes. Where did that idea come from?
That idea came about. I'm a huge anime nut, but I also love fantasy. Oh, there goes one of the kids. Hey, yeah, whatever. They're trying to hide underneath the table. Sorry about that. That idea actually came about because I'm a huge anime nut, and I'm also a fantasy buff as well. I play a lot of Pathfinder and stuff like that. And I was looking at a lot of games out there, 40K, War Machine, Infinity, and stuff like that. They all had themes to them. Like, for example, 40K is very graphic. War Machine is very steampunk. Infinity is very, very heavy sci-fi. Well, I didn't want to do the same thing that everybody else had done. I didn't want to make another gothic game. I didn't want to make another, fantasy. So I thought, why not take, fantasy elements and throw it into a sci-fi? Now, yes, I know we're not the first person or first company that has done something like that, but do it in our own style. So I decided to take traditional fantasy races that you would find in like a D&D monster manual or a Pathfinder monster manual, and put our spin on them, put them in our own sci-fi world that we created. And so that's the idea of all these characters came from. But I didn't just want to call them elves, dwarves, and stuff like that. I wanted to give our own unique names to them. That's why we got Elvarian, Bob, Rahim, and characters that didn't even show up in this Kickstarter, like the Nagini and the Goonin, which are humans and are dwarves, or not dwarves, but are gnomes. So, and then we didn't want to just call them dragons, so we decided to call them Omegas. And that ties into our story, and built robots are basically our mecha in the game, and we called them PALs, and lead. It's an acronym for, protect and lead. So that's the idea that came from.
So you guys wanted to get to that special level of nerd, where even with other nerds are listening, the jargon will just be confusing to everybody if you don't play the game.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I'm an IT guy, so when it came for our mechs, I really wanted to, our pals, I really wanted it to resonate with the IT crowd. So, in everything in IT, we apprehend the hell out of everything. So I decided let's make a acronym name for them. And so we came up with PAL for Protect and Lead, which actually fits very well into our story. And so that's why they're called PALs.
No, that's cool. I love it. I love the uniqueness that you're going for. Like, it's just something a little more refreshing, a little more new.
Yeah. And so whenever we decided we were going that route, since I'm the art director of the whole group, because back in the day when I was in high school, I had dreams of being a comic book artist. It didn't really pan out. I sat down and I started designing these characters. I designed quite a bit. I'm not a professional by any means at it, so I went looking around and I went and found a really cool concept artist by the name of Juan Caruso, who does all of our concept art and is also going to be doing a lot of our production art too when we get going. And he took my ideas and made all the concept art that you see on the Kickstarter. They're all his, but they were all my ideas that I gave to him, and he just basically said, okay, this is what you're describing to me, this is what I see. And of course, I changed a little bit here and there. Primarily our Raheem, Hannah, and Oda, they went through a major redesign, but he put them all out, and that's what we have. And then, like I said, I'm very friend and family oriented. I got with one of my close friends. He's also on YouTube. His name's New Icon, and he owns a company called Crushwell Productions, or goes by C-Pop. Does a lot of games that he puts out through the Wargaming Vault and stuff like that. And I hooked up with him, and not only will we be doing art characters, we're also going to be making his characters as well. And because of the way our story evolves, we can actually bring them into our game if we want to. So it's going to be really cool. And actually, in the Kickstarter, we got 2 C-Pop miniatures that will, if those stretch goals get hit, will actually be made. We've got Ling Ling and Nagisa that will be made.
Cool.
Well, all right then. Yeah, no, I think one of my favorites here, just looking at them, I really like your Ling Ling model, and I also really like the company avatar. Like, those two seem really cool.
Midnight is we got the idea for Midnight not only from our name, but I live about an hour away from Reaper Miniatures. I'm based out of Dallas, Texas. And one of the things that I really like about Reaper Miniatures is they have, and even Soda Pop Miniatures, they have a company avatar. For Reaper, it's Sophie, and for Soda Pop, it's Candy and Cola. And I really liked that idea for us, and so I wanted to build a character that was basically our avatar. And so she was actually the second character that I designed. The first character that I ever designed was Elvia. So I sat down and I designed her, and then I gave her to an artist by the name of Peter Gandia, who took my concept and actually made what you see there on the Kickstarter. And she's actually she will be in the game too, but she will be a special character. She won't be actually in the story of the game. She'll just be a special character. She will also be, like, whenever we do special holiday miniatures or, convention type special miniatures, it's going to most likely be of Midnight.
Do you have a favorite miniature in here?
For me?
Yeah.
Actually, I have 2 favorites. I really, really love Elvia, and my other favorite is actually pretty far down the list, but I love Methul. He is our Elvarian pal. And I've come up with I helped design it, because I'm very big into mechs. I love Gundam and stuff like that, and Methul, I like them all, but Methul and Elvia are 2 of my favorites, especially the story that I've built for Methul. He's basically, in a nutshell, he's a knight. Like, he has like a code of honor, like a knight of a round table type of character. He's very honorable. That's why he carries a giant sword. He doesn't really, believe in guns, nothing like that. He's going to take you on, and he's going to duel you with this sword. And if he wins, brings honor to himself. If he loses, oh, no, you kick his butt. Basically. Do you have a favorite, Lynn?
I gotta say the redesign with Oda is by far one of my favorites right now. The first design we had was not too great, but Oda, I love Oda. Other than Oda, I really want to see Bite come to life too. Bite is gonna be a fun one, I think. And then I gotta say, what the Aruk are orcs, basically, our space orcs. Those are. We're going to be a lot of things planned for them and how we're going to use them.
Oh yeah, they're going to be very interesting. Our space orcs that we call the Aruk, the concept of them, they're basically an orc, venom, and predator thrown into one. That's basically what they are. And if you look at them, you'll see they've got the whole venom jaw, but it kind of spreads open like the predator, and they're nasty.
Wow, nice.
I like nasty.
Yeah. And like I said, we got an evolving story for all of these, and we've got an amazing story team that's going to be writing a lot of this stuff up and basically taking all the notes that I have. And our plan is to get this out on our website here pretty soon to get some of this story coming out so people can read. Not only with just our miniatures, but they can understand what this miniature is that they're pledging for. What's the story? How does it fit in our world and stuff like that? But since our story is so big, it's just going to span multiple books, we're calling books, and inside each book's going to have multiple chapters. We're in the process right now of doing book 1 and book 2 because our game, which is coming hopefully later next year, is actually going to take place in book 3. So we're right now working on the story for book 1 and book 2. And by the time characters in this Kickstarter actually are in their state as if they were at the very end of book 2 going into our game, which is book 3. Okay. So our story goes.
All right, well, we're coming near the end of... Well, I gotta go do something. But if you would take like 60 seconds, maybe 60 seconds each, and just kind of like everything has been said, like why should the public donate to your Kickstarter? Why should they be interested in your game?
Well, to be fair, not necessarily donate. Why would they buy in? What's the selling point?
That's what I meant.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Why would someone want to buy in and play this game? If you took like 60 seconds to kind of sum it all up.
Who wants to know your elevator pitch?
Yeah,
the elevator pitch. We're going for the aspect of we are getting on something that's a ground floor. We want to build something from the ground up, and that's when you look at Kickstarter. That's what Kickstarter really should be about. Taking something from the ground floor, contributing something that's really special, going with the passion that we have here in designs and the passion we have into building this game through the cards to produce this new type of game that we like in the board play. We also we love taking our passion, pushing into the quality of the miniatures that we want to put out. They are going to be as best the quality we could possibly produce out to give them something to where if they want to put that in their case and pay it up, they can have that there for a long time and be very proud of what they have. All right. Next.
Yeah, I'm up. Mine is to kind of build off of what Lynn said. We're a 100% pure startup company. You would be getting on the ground floor of this. And not only would you be getting in the ground floor, you would also help contribute to mold this and make this into something that is going to be what we believe to be amazing. You will have the opportunity to not only affect how our game is built, you will have the opportunity to affect how the story evolves and characters evolve in this world. And we also are trying to appeal to a massive audience. Our target audience is quite bigger than your normal tabletop gamer or your normal board gamer or your card gamer. It's actually all of them above. And to get them to step out of their comfort box and try something a little bit different. 100% diceless. I know that's scary, but it's different, and it's so different that it could actually work. And so we would really, love to get you to back us and help us out, and we would appreciate everything that you do, and just hope you enjoy it as much as we do, because we have a huge passion for this.
And Also, thanks to Codex Dan and Gaming Girl for allowing us this wonderful opportunity to kind of talk to everybody out here. Really do appreciate that.
I'll expect full payment at the end of this.
Thanks for coming on, guys. We get bored when you talk to each other. I mean, you say us, really.
All the time.
We appreciate you letting us come on here. This is actually awesome because I watch those videos on YouTube quite a bit myself, and the fact that you guys would let us come on here and just hang out with you. That's cool.
Yeah, no problem. So we will put a link to the Kickstarter in the video description. So if you want to check it out, you can go from there.
It's already made funding, so anybody looking to buy in would, you can look at whatever miniatures you're kind of digging on. I guess it's really for the first level. You guys have to meet stretch goals to unlock the rest of them, right?
Yeah, each one of them is an add-on, and we have to meet, and that's mainly because we are a pure startup company.
Yeah, totally.
We're not. This is pure 100% startup, and whatever you plan to actually help us get them made.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
And well, I hope you keep watching our videos because we love making it, and we love that people watch them. We try. Well, Miranda does at least. I don't know.
Yeah.
You should be able to do this again in another couple of weeks, right, Dan?
Right. Yeah. We should. Assuming there's not another fire.
Not another fire.
Fire's bad.
Yeah, fire's bad.
Unless it's. I love fire actually. Just not in the workplace. Well, it depends. Anyways.
I get you. I understand what you're saying.
I think I'll wrap it up. Quick look through the comments. Somebody wants to paint you a Jack, Miranda. I think you should get on that.
I am not. I will never turn down somebody who wants to paint stuff for me.
Because although your painting skills are amazing, don't get me wrong, but if you had someone paint something for you, it couldn't hurt.
I would love to paint a dragon. That can be fun to paint.
Okay, so right now on Cool Money or Not, I saw this mini called Kang the Implacable.
Yeah.
And it's 2 feet tall. It's this big tower, and the thing's over with these massive wings, and I was like,
2 feet tall.
It's like a $200 miniature, but I want it so bad.
You definitely have to paint with an airbrush.
Sorry, it's a $300 miniature, but it's so big and it's so amazing. It's 3.5 pounds. It's 28 millimeter, almost 2 feet from base to wingtip. It's exclusive. It's out of stock. Does that mean I can't get it?
Well, of course it's going to be out of stock.
But also it says exclusive. What does that mean? Cool Money or Not?
I don't know. It's a great question to ask them.
Yeah. Okay. When you're in Atlanta, that's your job.
Oh my goodness. Right. So Dan made me do this.
She's got to ask about it.
All right. Well, it's been fun, guys. But all good things must come to an end.
Awesome stuff.
So again, appreciate it. It was great hanging out with you guys, and best of luck with your campaign. It sounds like a really cool game. I'll probably have to try it out.
Cool beaners.
All right. Any last words? Anybody? Last chance?
Thank you for letting us come here.
Thank you all for watching.
Bye, guys.
Bye.